Hi DF, long time, first time. As someone who was waiting for the PC version of Jedi Survivor to improve, bought the latest patch version and immediately refunded it. Do publishers have an idea of how much money they are losing releasing poorly optimized versions of their game? Not only do they lose out on people like me buying their game, but also the difference in potential earnings since price drops further from the game's release. This one from Trey Racer. Hi DF, exclamation point. Given Respawn's implied completion of Jedi Survivor, do you think it is acceptable for them to leave the game as it is with broken screen space reflections? What is the likelihood that they would go back and quote unquote disable them for the worst offending services and even implement cube maps? Would you say it is worth it for them? So Alex, you've been looking at Jedi Survivor. Hopefully there's a video out by the time we post this. But it's not a good look, is it? Because the fundamental foundational issues that Jedi Survivor had at launch, we've seen incremental improvements from patch to patch to patch. For sure. But it's still got the foundational problems that it had at day one.
Yeah, it's kind of... Wow. It is... I don't understand it, especially when it was launched, why it launched in the state it was on PC, because I think almost like intuitively obvious to the casual observer, something was not right. If you played that on PC. Now it has a number of incremental benefits if you play it now versus launch, but it still is so not right in a lot of ways that I don't recommend playing it on a mid-range PC at all, for example. I say that at the end of my video. I'm like, don't even try. Like, you're not going to be really having a lot of fun with this. And I think it dramatically impacts the sales and the word of mouth and also the reputation. It drags the reputation of the studio so hard. Like, it's hard for me to really want a Respawn game on PC after this, because it's like, it's kind of disrespectful to the players buying the game when they're like, because a lot of people, like, when you look at when these games release and the people who bought them and they don't refund them immediately, they spend a hell of a lot of time in like fora online and trying to tweak the game, implementing FPS caps, just a whole bunch of like, there's coping with the game's poor performance, and they're trying to do their best, and they're wasting their time, and they're just like disrespecting the time of the player because their PC is not being taken advantage of because the game is unoptimized. And I don't think it's a good look, and I think it does reflect poorly on their future releases. So I really wish they would stop doing it. And regarding the console stuff, I think probably John has an opinion here, but that seems like the one really good thing they could have done actually here was turn off ray tracing, because it was too ambitious for the 60 FPS mode. I think they made the right choice there, but I obviously didn't go back in and then make sure the visuals are perfectly fine everywhere in the game for that. And I think Oliver pointed that out really well in his video, that like, oh, actually, like we saw with Resident Evil 4 remake, like, man, this SSR is just not doing it, guys. Like, it would be nice if they went in and added in really great cube maps to certain areas, but I really don't think they will.
I mean, keep in mind, this is also getting a last-gen release now, right? So...
Oh, gosh,
they had that fallback SSR probably in place anyway, and I suspect it's going to ship that way on those machines too.
Okay.
That's a good. I forgot about those versions. Yeah, wow.
So the PC version did get DLSS. There was the AMD sponsorship angle, and it looks as though whatever agreements that were with AMD have expired. And
or something changed after the recent outcry.
Yeah, or something changed.
Yeah. So how is DLSS? I mean, do you get frame gen?
You get frame gen in there too. They separate them in the menu like they should, which is good. But as I say in the video, like frame gen, like you're getting like a smoother experience in the moments when the game isn't stuttering, as in when it doesn't have like frame time spikes. That's smoother technically, a higher frame rate there at the same input latency more or less as before, just a little bit more maybe. That's all fine and dandy, but that is not a way I recommend playing games. Like, I don't find that is a great thing to do. The audience was doing it in a modding fashion, the people on PC, because they were desperate for the game to be somewhat better. And it doesn't fix the core issue. So I actually find it really distracting when I'm playing like at 140 FPS and then the frame time goes to like 25 milliseconds all of a sudden. Like, I find that ridiculously distracting. And I think most people who play on PC do. So I don't think that is actually, it's nice that they added it after all this time, but it's also not it's like a really poor Band-Aid over the big issue that the game has.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of do hope they would go back and fix that SSR issue, but it would have been in Series S from day one, right? Because that never had ray tracing.
Right. I keep forgetting about that.
Everyone does. Yeah.
So, that's not great, is it? And I don't know. You're saying it still has shader compilation issues, Alex, on PC?
Yeah, it does. Pretty obvious. I even showed it in the video.
Right.
Like when you just I load up the Kobo save in the video and I just show it off right away. And there's other parts throughout the intro where it's easy to show off, but it's like, yeah, like I don't understand it. Like also the fact that it does this shader compilation thing every single time you start up the game, even though it does nothing. And like on the 12900K, like you can wait 40 seconds for this shader compilation UI to show up every single time. And it's like, what is it doing? I've loaded up the game 10 times already. And I talk about it in the video too, but like they're not testing the game on PC. They are seriously not testing it. Don't tell me you are, because you can't change the resolution with a mouse and keyboard. You can't. You have to use a controller for it. And like, yeah, I show it in the video. Your mouse disappears after you click on a new resolution, and you can't hit spacebar to confirm. And it's telling you to use the mouse or the keyboard there, and none of them work. Like, I don't know, like, what is going on with this game.
Oh, that's because you have to press the U key.
I have to press the U key or the any key. Like, I got to do a lot of things. But yeah, it feels like a game that they're not giving enough time to QA properly on PC or something. I don't know what it is, but it's very disappointing.
Okay, well, that is not great, but I'm certainly going to be very curious to see the last gen versions, because I've got this horrible feeling they're going to be absolutely fine within their specific hardware constraints. But to leave PC in the state it is right now is just shocking. I just can't get my head around that. I do think this is probably going to be a project I'm going to embark on in like 2024 or something, but I do wonder whether there is like a sort of magical unicorn PC setup that won't eliminate stutter. That's obviously impossible at this point, but what is the best strategy for mitigating it? Is it X3D from AMD? Is it ultra low latency memory with X3D? I'd be very interested to see what can be done to at least mitigate the issues.
A bit like your Batman Arkham Knight video.
Yes.
Right. I mean, if you want to find the rig that can run this game perfectly, I suggest you go to Google, you type in Jedi Survivor, Reddit, and in quotations, it works for me. And you should find the results of the people that have zero issues.
Best part is that launch day people saying that.
Yeah.
Then how did they improve performance, I wonder, if it was perfect at launch?
Well, it just, improved upon perfection.